Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we are going to completely transform how you look at building web pages. Seriously, if you want to make that leap from writing code that just barely works to writing code that's professional, accessible, and, highly optimized, you are in exactly the right place. So here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with the div soup problem, then cover what is semantic HTML, why semantic HTML matters, meet the core tags, structuring a portfolio website, and we'll wrap it all up with code that communicates. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the div soup problem and avoiding generic tags. Okay, I want you to treat web development kind of like building a house. You've got your raw materials, sure, but how you stack them together, that's what makes a structure actually stand up and make sense. Now, if you're a beginner, you have almost certainly relied on the div tag as your primary building block. It's a classic crutch, right? It literally stands for divider, and it acts as a completely generic container. So it raises a really valid question. If a generic div works perfectly fine to group your content and make it look right on the screen, why not just use it for absolutely everything? Well, let's compare the two approaches. Imagine a block of messy, deeply nested generic div tags. It's what developers affectionately, or honestly, maybe traumatically, call div soup. Sure, it visually works, but it has zero inherent meaning. It is literally just a pile of unlabeled boxes. In stark contrast, clean code uses specific semantic tags like header, main, and section. Generic dividers are just empty, right? But semantic code, it acts like a clear architect's blueprint for the browser. It tells the browser exactly what the purpose of that box actually is. Moving on to section 2, what is semantic HTML and its purpose beyond just looks?
So, here's our core definition. Semantic HTML basically means employing HTML elements that convey meaning and purpose to the browser way beyond just visual presentation. You can think of semantic tags as special labels. They explicitly tell web browsers, search engines, and importantly, other developers what different parts of a web page actually mean. It's the difference between just saying, hey, here is a box of text, and saying, here is the main navigation menu for my entire website. Huge difference.
Which brings us to section 3, why semantic HTML matters, focusing on accessibility and SEO. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how semantic HTML shines a light on the invisible web. First up, accessibility. Semantic tags are absolutely vital for screen readers and assistive technologies because they act like signposts, helping visually impaired users navigate sections easily. Second is SEO. Search engines prioritize well-structured content because they can actually understand your page's hierarchy. Third, we have code maintainability. It is incredibly easy for a team to read and update semantic code without accidentally breaking things. And finally, real-world standards. Recruiters actively check for this because it proves you build to a professional standard. I love this quote from our sources because it perfectly summarizes the impact. It says, semantic HTML entails employing HTML elements that convey meaning. This approach aids search engines and assistive technologies in comprehending the structure and intent. Listen, coding is absolutely not just about visual presentation. It's about empathy. It's about professionalism. By using semantic HTML, you're literally opening up the web to absolutely everyone. All right, section 4. Let's meet the core tags, our actual building blocks. And this brilliantly illustrates how you can map out a web page. Think of a page as having a physical map. Your header belongs at the very top, with your navigation tucked nicely inside it. Below that, your main sections and articles provide the core content. You might have an aside for sidebars, and finally, a footer structurally holding up the very bottom. This is your true architectural blueprint, putting everything in its rightful, logical place. Let's detail each of these core building blocks. The header tag represents introductory content or navigation right at the top of your page. Then, the main tag defines the primary, unique content of your document. And here's a crucial tip. There can only be one main tag per page because a page only has one main topic. Next, the section tag. This one is brilliant for grouping related topics together, kind of like chapters in a book. And finally, the footer wraps up the bottom of your page with closing info, contact details, or copyright notices. Section 5, structuring a portfolio website. Let's look at a real-world application. Okay, let's dive into this step by step. If you're building a personal portfolio to show off to employers, here is your exact top-to-bottom sequence. Step 1, set up your header tag to hold your navigation links. Step 2, open your main tag because everything that follows is the unique content of your portfolio. Step 3, inside that main tag, use individual section tags to clearly divide your home, about, and projects areas. And step 4, close it all out with a footer tag for your social links and copyright. Let's look at the actual code from Project AI for this. Notice how clean this is. We have the main tag wrapping everything. Inside it, we have distinct section tags, and we've even given them unique IDs, like About and Projects, so users can smoothly navigate right to them. Wrapping your home, About, Projects, and contact details inside section tags within a main tag, that creates a highly organized, professional portfolio layout that speaks volumes to whoever is reviewing your code. And our final section, Section 6, Code that Communicates, Speaking to the Browser. So what does this all mean? The crucial point is this. Is your code just working, or is it speaking? Honestly, anyone can stack generic dividers until a web page looks okay, but real-world companies and recruiters, they look for clean semantic structure. They want code that communicates its purpose to browsers, to search engines, to assistive technologies, and to future developers. Remember the legacy of your code. Start using semantic tags today and let your code speak for itself. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.